My name is Hannah, and this is my year of less stuff. You guys, I'm having the hardest time getting this video off the ground. This is like the 100th take of the beginning of the introduction. I don't know what's wrong with me today, but I just need to scrap saying, hey y'all, and saying, hey, we're back at home, and just launch into the video because otherwise I will never get going. I'm going to talk today about what I consider to be the best, I guess it's the 6 best luxury makeup items that I've ever tried. These are the products that are considered luxury that I have retained, used over and over again, that I consider to be really, really amazing. I think that luxury labeling doesn't always imply that a product is going to be good. We don't say it that way very often. We don't often come out and say, some luxury makeup is awesome and some is garbage. Some high-end makeup is awesome and some is garbage. Some drugstore makeup is awesome and some is garbage. But really, I think underneath it all, we know that, although I am the first to say that I'm easily wooed by fancy packaging and labeling and all of that stuff. And I think that that's why it's worth sitting down and being like, these are luxury products and they compel me with their branding and their packaging, but they are also so good that I would love them the way that I love them, no matter what category they were in, no matter what packaging they were in. I just think that they're the best of the best. In a weird way, it's like they're the best of the best regardless of the fact that they are luxury makeup. That's kind of how I'm framing this video in my mind. And I want to say up front that that doesn't necessarily mean that they're worth the money to me. And I'll talk about that as I go through each product. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're worth the money to you. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I'm Hannah. I love beautiful things, but I love financial health more, my financial health and your financial health. Only you can know, only you can decide what is worth the money to you, because worth is relative. Worth is relative to your circumstance. So I hope that you will keep that in mind as we're going through the video. I'm not here to tell you that it would be a good idea for you to buy one or all of these products. I just want to share them with you and talk about them with you because I love talking about makeup and beautiful things. So if that sounds good to you, I hope that you will subscribe to my channel and keep watching. Let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. This t-shirt, by the way, came from Yes Style. I recently reviewed some sunscreens from them and they sent me a couple of other things to review as well. Joe really wanted this shirt, but after we washed it, it was way too small for him. It only comes in one size. So I decided I would just go ahead and wear it in the video because now that it has shrunk, it fits me. But I think after this, I'm gonna cut this out and sew it to one of Joe's t-shirts so that he can have it. Let's kick it off with the lip product that I'm actually wearing on my lips today. It's the Gucci Voile lipstick in the color Goldie Red. I recently thought that it was Gucci Red and I misspoke in another video, I'm so sorry. So it's the Rouge à Lèvres Voile, and I reviewed this very thoroughly, and I'm probably going to be speaking about it again in a coming video. The thing that's great about it, everything is great about it, actually. The packaging, I think, is absolutely stunning. The formula is rich enough to not feel like it's just some sort of gloss stick. Like the color is rich enough. Again, I'm not gonna go out there and be like, it's worth the money. But to me, it's doing something that many luxury products don't, which is that it's earning its price in terms of the way that the product applies. It's making a case for itself. And to me, as a sheer product, it's making a case for itself with like the richness and opacity of the color. There's this beautiful balance between the richness of the color and what I would call like the casual nature of the formula. So it doesn't feel as high stakes, it doesn't feel as statement as putting on just a regular lipstick in this kind of color. It feels a little bit more casual than that, but that casual aspect doesn't cause it to be just like a watery, wispy attempt at a red. It strikes the perfect balance, and that's rare across all strata of pricing in makeup, and I think kind of hard to find. And the fact that it's packaged so beautifully, that it smells so good, it smells like violet candy, it just feels really, really special. I love how it performs. I'm wearing it today and I've had it on for about an hour, and I have been like doing stuff and talking and drinking water, and this is the result. I love it so much that I'm very tempted to buy another one in a more neutral color. That's why I was recently talking about it, because I talked about it in the video where I anti-hauled my Sephora loves list. Next up is the Gucci mascara. You guys, I have fallen so hard for it. I loved it in the video. I mean, I reviewed it, I did a first impressions, and in that same video I came back and talked about it after having used it for a couple of weeks. And that was in February. It's been months and it is still going strong, and I am dreading the day that it runs out, because I currently feel, and I think with mascara, it's hard. When I love the one that I'm using, I always feel like it's the best one that I've ever tried. And then if I move on to something else after I've used it and I find another one that I really like, I always feel like it's the best one that I've ever tried. But I just currently feel like it's the best mascara ever. I currently feel very, very loyal to it and in love with it. And I don't think I will buy it. I said in that review video that for me, this is just too rich for my blood when it comes to mascara. I only purchased it because I was going to do a review of it on my channel. It was a business purchase, but I will be very tempted to treat myself to it once in a while in the future. And in that way, my tune has changed, because in that review video, I was like, look, y'all, I would never spend this much on a mascara when you can get really, really good mascaras at the drugstore. It just isn't the kind of category of product that makes sense for me to spend this much on. And it's just hard not to imagine that I'll miss it and miss it and miss it. And it's hard not to imagine that I won't be able to replace it in my affections with a different kind of mascara, because I've grown super fond of it. The thing that makes it amazing to me and that makes it outperform so many other mascaras is that it's designed to be editorially buildable. It's designed to be able to get you those incredibly intense, spidery, super long lashes that just look like, I don't know, like muddy sand piles turned into eyelashes. Like, it just looks like gunk upon gunk upon gunk, splinking and splinking from your eyes. I love it when a mascara is giving me that option, because it means that I can build towards that, but then stop short of it. Because obviously that's not what my eyelashes look like today. But the fact that they have built that capability into this mascara means that I can always make it do what I want it to do. I can always make it build and build and build to my satisfaction, and I can always make it build volume and gunk into the roots so that it just darkens and defines my eyes. I especially love doing that when I'm not wearing any eyeshadow. So it has that quality, which there are other mascaras, there are a lot of other mascaras that have that quality, but this one pairs that quality with a really, really spiky rubber wand that gives me a ton of control and allows me to coat every single lash and kind of move the lashes around and sculpt them. And those bigger, fluffier, hourglass shaped natural hair brushes, which are usually the kinds of brushes that are paired with the kinds of mascaras that I like, they don't give that option. And conversely, mascaras with rubber bristle wands like this usually aren't buildable. I usually find that those rubber bristle wands like strip away what they're putting down as you comb through your lashes. So to find one that has that super control brush that makes me feel like I can do anything, and also has the buildable formula that makes me feel like I can do anything, that to me is very rare. And then it's in this stunning packaging, this stunning weighted packaging that looks very vintage and sweet, and it's just the whole package. The Charlotte Tilbury Spotlight Beauty Light Wand. I always think it's called the Spotlight Wand, but in fact, Spotlight is the color. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wand. It's a liquid highlighter. There are some significant downsides to this product, and I will touch on those. I think that the downsides account for this product not getting as much hype as I think the formula deserves, because I love liquid highlighters and I've really been like looking for the good ones recently. And when I say recently, I kind of mean like over the past year. I've been keeping my eye out, and the liquid highlight that's inside this awkward, messy little tube is my holy grail. Though we all know there's no such thing as a holy grail, it's the best one to me. It's the most versatile. Even though the packaging is one of the problems, the way that it's packaged, the fact that you can apply it without making contact, with your hand, like you're not touching it with your hands, not pumping it out. You just take the lid off and like apply it directly from the applicator. I don't usually like products like that, like concealers. I don't know, sponge tip stuff has never really been my jam, but for some reason with this product, with the formula and the way that I want to use it, it really works for me. I really, really like the ease of use of it. One of the major downsides, probably the one, it's the messiness of the applicator. I didn't clean it up because I want you guys to be able to see. It's awkward and it's messy like this because you twist the head to open it and then squeeze the tube to dispense product into the sponge tip applicator. And then you turn the head again to close it. And the product just gets all over. Whether I store it opened or closed, whether I squeeze out a lot or not, it gets very messy, and no matter how much I clean it, it's always messy. So I think that was a huge turnoff to a lot of people, and maybe the application style as a whole was a huge turnoff to a lot of people, and so I saw a lot of mixed reviews on this product. But the substance, the creamy liquid highlighter that's in there, it blends beautifully with any other liquid cheek product. It just looks so beautiful, and it also lends a slight peachy tone to anything that I mix it with, so it makes any blush that I mix it with a little bit more sort of blendable with my skin tone. Like it makes the blushes blend in more and look more like color from within or lit from within. It can also be applied as a highlight really generously, dry down, and then I can apply like a wash of a powder blush over top of it, and it will take beautifully to it. So I have just found it to work on almost any face of makeup with almost any other product, any application, and the shine is very, very strong, but also very natural looking. I feel like we talk a lot about incredibly blinding metallic stripe on the cheek, see it from outer space type of highlighters. And then we talk about like that natural glow where it just looks like your skin looks like that and it looks lit from within. You can't tell if you're really wearing a highlighter or not. What I want is something in between, which is really, really blindingly glowy, but doesn't look like it's sitting on the skin. I don't mind if you can tell that I've used something to glow up my cheeks, but I just don't want it to be visible as a separate product. You know what I mean? I want it to look like I've used something to glow up my cheeks and it is literally like part of my skin. And I feel like this is the only one that I've ever had that has truly checked all of those boxes, and I will be sad when I use it up. I've used it almost every day since I got it in January. I decided to put Natasha Genoa eyeshadows on this list. Natasha Genoa eyeshadows at large. And I know that sometimes she has missed the mark with some of her palettes. Sometimes one of her palettes will come out and people will be like, the formula isn't the same. It's not the Natasha Genoa eyeshadow formula that we know and love. I think most of the people are talking about the mattes when they talk about that. She doesn't usually miss the mark with shimmers. They tend to be really rich and indulgent and multi-dimensional, and she tends to use different textures, and those usually tend to go over pretty well with everyone. But I know that the consistency of the matte formula has not been consistent. I'm talking about the Natasha Genoa formula that we know and love as being that incredibly rich, almost like a pressed pigment feeling matte formula. And then also her creamy mattes, I feel like they fall into the same category. Just the amazing work that she does with rich, brilliant, super saturated matte eyeshadows that also have a nice blend to them. So I brought the gold palette out just as an example. I have a couple Natasha Genoa palettes. All of them were gifts of one kind or another, and I've never bought one, and I don't think I ever would, even though they're some of the best luxury products I've ever tried, some of the best eyeshadows I've ever tried. I still just wouldn't spend the money. So just putting that out there, this is an example of one that I'm talking about in this video because I have it and I love it, and it does make it onto this list. It fully earns its place on this list, but I don't think it's worth the money to me. But I just wanted to show you how well loved this is, how much I've used it, and just touch base on the mattes a little bit. I mean, I think that the thing that's really amazing about them is the richness and the density of pigment, and then they've got this velvety quality to them. And I also wanted to mention that when I use these matte eyeshadows, I don't use them the same way that I use most other eyeshadows because they're so pigmented and so finely milled that they will just grab onto the spot where you place them. And so they don't floof around and fly around and diffuse and disperse, like particle disbursement all over the eye, the way that I find like sandier or powderier eyeshadows do. When I use these, I almost do like a paint by numbers on my eye. So I'm like, I'll get some on my brush and I'll be like, I want you here, and I'll go like pat, 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 pat all over my eye where I want that color to be. And then I'll be like, I want you here, and then I'll be like pat, pat, pat with a different color like in the outer corner. And then I'll take a brush and just gently blend the seam together and then gently blend the edges out a little bit and like diffuse the edges. And the edges, because they're so pigmented, seamlessly blend into one another. And I think with other eyeshadows that are different formulas, more powdery, less high quality, less pigmented, if you tried to do that, you'd get a very muddy blend in that spot. So if you put a patch of it here and a patch of it here and tried to blend it together, it's like it would all just go into nothing, like go into the air or turn into a muddy color or something. These shadows hold their own so strongly that what happens is you get the really beautiful blend that you would get with a more loose technique with a different formula. So I might film at some point just like a demonstration like how I use Natasha Genoa eyeshadows. Let me know if you would like to see that, because I know that me explaining it just now was very awkward. Over the years, I have come to enjoy applying eyeshadow in the manner that Natasha Genoa shadows allow me to use more than the other technique. So I just like working with them more. Second to last on my list is this Lancome blush. And I know that Lancome might not be considered luxury in the same way. I do tend to think of like Natasha Genoa, Charlotte Tilbury, Lancome as being luxury makeup, I think just because of the pricing and the branding and everything. And then I tend to think of Gucci and Marc Jacobs as also being in the category of luxury makeup, but having the additional distinction of being like designer makeup. So I decided to group those two things together for this. I know that the lines can get a little bit blurry, but that's just where I'm coming from. This is the Blush Subtil from Lancome, and I have it in two colors. I have this color, which is Mocha Havana Shimmer, and I have Miel Glacé, and I really, really love them both. They both impress me so much, and I definitely knew when I started making this list that I wanted them to go on it, because I never really hear about the Lancome Blush Subtil on YouTube, and I use them all the time. Right now, I kind of feel like they're the only blushes in my collection that can sway me away from using a cream blush. Now, I will say that this blush comes in a lot of colors, and the two that I have, I love for reasons that might not extend to all of the colors in the range. So what I really, really love about Miel Glacé and Mocha Havana Shimmer, they both are this beautiful, natural, rich nude. Miel Glacé being the lighter version of it. I feel like they're the light and the dark version of the same color, basically. And I considered giving Mocha Havana Shimmer away, but I ended up keeping it because sometimes for photo shoots or filming with really bright lights, it actually it looks on camera the way that Miel Glacé looks in real life. So I have kind of like a camera version of the blush and regular life version of the same blush. But what that means is that I think Miel Glacé would be, I think Mocha Havana Shimmer would be your Miel Glacé if you have deeper skin than I do. So I'm glad to be able to say, like, I love Miel Glacé for every day. It's my perfect everyday blush. And if you want the same thing but you have a different skin tone than mine, then Mocha Havana Shimmer might be the one that would work for you. What I was trying to say is that the thing I love about both of them is not just the color that they kind of share, but the fact that the formula isn't too pigmented. It blends beautifully, and it blends sheer and buildable. So it gives you this gorgeous sheer wash, and then you can definitely build it up. And I can definitely build up Mocha Havana Shimmer to be like a really, really rich, dramatic look, but it doesn't go there too fast. You can just build and build and build and build, similar to the mascara. It's like you have the dramatic option, and you can just keep building until you get where you want, and it doesn't give me any trouble. I'm always able to just like layer and blend, and they always look flawless. And both of these colorways have like a little bit of a sheen, a very, very glowy skin-like sheen. It doesn't look like a highlighter. It doesn't look see it from space. But when I wear one of these two blushes or both of them together, I often don't feel like I need to highlight because I look so glowy. And again, it's like that natural glow that's part of the skin. So I don't know if that same shimmer is in all of the colors. That's why I was saying that I can only really account for these two colors that I have. I think that some of the blush subtils are matte, and those probably do have that beautiful buildable formula. They probably just don't have that skin-like shimmer, but it's the combination of the sheer buildable quality, the rich nudes, and the skin-like shimmer that caused these to land on this list. And then last but not least, but the one that I probably won't talk very much about because I talk so much about this on my channel, and again, I recently talked about it in the video about the things that are on my Sephora loves list, because there's another color of this on my loves list because I love it so much. Although, as I said in that video, I'll probably never buy it. Over the years, I've learned that when I really, really love something and then that love causes me to want to buy another color of it or another version of it, that it never goes well because the love always stays focused on the first one. The intensity of the love was always actually just for the one that I had, and doubling it doesn't double the love. It just means that I have another one that's like second string to the one that I loved so much to begin with. So I've learned my lesson, and I probably will never buy another color of this one because the one that I already have is the one for me. It is the infamous Tom Ford Cream and Powder eye color in Naked Bronze. It's two products in one. So you unscrew the little thing at the bottom and there's a cream in there, and then you flip up the top and there's a shimmery powder in there. The cream is very moussey and it doesn't dry down too fast. And those two qualities combined make it the most blendable, the easiest to work with liquid or cream eyeshadow that I've ever used. I don't usually like liquid or cream eyeshadows. I usually have a hard time blending them above the crease of my hooded eyes, like blending them like onto the brow bone like that. I have a hard time getting like a beautiful diffuse blend there, but I don't struggle getting a beautiful diffuse blend with this moussey and flexible cream shadow that has impressed me so much. And as if that's not enough, the eyeshadow that comes with it is of a type that I really, really love and that I use almost every day. And that is a sheer, shimmery, wet look formula. So a powder shadow that has such fine glitters in it that it really makes the lids look wet. And there's enough oomph to the coverage of that shimmer that you can use it to make any patchy blend of any kind of eyeshadow look smoother on the brow bone or around where I'm getting crow's feet, or just like to add a wet look to the lid. I reach for the couple of shadows that I have that are like this all the time, and I reach for this one all the time as well. So this is just one of my favorite things ever. I'm so glad I decided to get it. I spent a gift certificate on this that my parents had given me for my birthday in February, and it was a good decision. And that reminds me, I'm gonna go through briefly and just say whether I would or would not buy these products. The first one, the lipstick, I think if I lost this exact one tomorrow, I would just mourn it. I would be really sad, but I probably wouldn't go and spend the $42 or $45 again on this one. I would be really, really sad. And I might eventually repurchase it or purchase it in a different color. The mascara, I kind of did touch on this when I was talking about it. I am not going to go out and buy it again when I use this up. It's just too expensive for me for a mascara, but I am going to miss it, and I could see myself buying it at some point in the future as a special occasion thing. If I get a gift card, something like that. I am not going to make a habit of always owning this mascara, but I will, I think, continue to carry a torch for it. The Charlotte Tilbury Spotlight Wand, I did buy myself and I don't regret it. I don't regret the money that I spent on it. I just use it every single day pretty much, and it's so versatile and it's so pleasurable to use. I tend to kind of get tired of things when I go through them, even the things that I love the best, even my favorite things like this. So I don't think when I use this up that I will immediately replace it, but I bet that I will really miss it. And I could see myself either trying a different color of it or repurchasing it at some point in the future. this just feels worth it to me, for me in my own life with my habits, in the way that some of these other things don't. I did touch thoroughly on it with Natasha Genoa. I think her eyeshadows are my favorites. They're just my favorites. I just love Natasha Genoa eyeshadows, and I love the palettes that I have of hers, but I would be fine without them, and I don't think I would spend the money on them. And the blush subtil, gosh, it's tough. I think right now, with my propensity to wear cream blushes and the fact that I have plenty of blushes that I love, if I happen to lose my 2 powder blushes from Lancome, or if they got smashed or something like that, I don't think I would run out and replace them again. I think I would just wait and see how I got along without them. Unlike the Tom Ford, which I'm about to talk about, I think I could get along just fine. I mean, I could get along just fine without any of this stuff, of course. But I'm saying I don't think I would feel the absence of them in my collection as strongly as I would feel the absence of this. This I really lean on in a number of ways. I wear it constantly. I've talked about it recently, about why I wear it constantly. It's sort of become my default. I feel like I could travel for a month and just take this as my only eyeshadow, and I would be golden and I would be perfectly happy. And if I lost this, I would buy it again with my own money. I think it's the only one on this list that I can confidently say, if you marched into my house and took all of these 6 things away, I would be like, how dare you? And then I would be on the Sephora website reordering this product. It is definitely, it's like the winner out of all 6 of these. And that is it. This video, I always think these videos are gonna be short and sweet when I'm like, I'm just gonna sit down and talk about 5 products that I like. And then I just start talking, and I just can't shut myself up when I'm talking about beautiful things that I love. So I hope that my raggedness didn't show, because by the end of this, I was like climbing like to the pinnacle of Everest with my stakes. Like, we're almost through talking about the Tom Ford Cumin powder. Thank you for watching this video. I'm gonna let you go now. I feel like I've forgotten how to film YouTube videos. This was so awkward. We're done. And don't forget to take extra good care of yourself this week so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.